Ethan.
I'm Ben.
We're at New York Comic Con 2019, as you can see.
Ooh, split the frame.
Oh. Ta-da! Last time you'll see that. Let's fill it back up and talk about Tom King's Vision with art by Gabriel Walter. This came out in 2017. It's an Eisner Award-winning series. Best Limited Series, I think, was the award that this book won. And it's one of the best damn things Marvel's published in the last 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
It's easily the best thing that Tom King's ever written. And I love this book unabashedly.
Well, that's because it's for Marvel and not DC.
Well, you know, his Omega Man is okay. I dig that.
Okay.
His Mr. Miracle is also good. But that's all I'm going to say about that. So,
all right.
This book, though, I was like, when he got this, he was actually between Marvel and DC. This is the book. The first issue convinced DC to give him Batman.
Okay.
Literally, the strength of this book about a robot man. They were like, Batman.
Because he's a robot man.
He's a robot man.
Basically.
Listen, true to form, that's exactly how Tom King wrote him. Like, okay, Batman's a robot man, done. I was actually kind of amazed because he was kind of a noob when it came to the comic book scene. He'd written a bunch of books, but even he would call himself like a comic book noob.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be like, I was kind of like relatively new. I'd only done like 3 series. And I'm like, oh yeah? Oh no, only 3 series. But this is the book where he was like, you know, if I only get this, that's
Right.
fine.
This is his opus.
It felt like an opus.
What's a noob?
Shut the fuck up. He was going to write it for as long as they let him.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, we're only giving you 12. And he's like, fair enough.
Yeah.
And thank God, because Tom King can write a 12-issue series. The shit out of a 12-issue series. And if you give him anything more than that, he loses his way. Like Dorothy in the woods. So,
Hey, and there's a dog in this like Toto.
there is a dog in this. Hey, good. That's true. That's right. Yeah, that's right. He's a synthezoid, not a robot.
Not a robot.
Synthetic android. He is built by Ultron.
It's a robot.
He's a robot. I mean, like everyone calls
It's
him
a robot who's like a dude.
But
All right,
this
so
book
Hank
is-
Pym built Ultron. Ultron built
Begat
Vision.
Vision, yes.
Yes.
And so Vision, you know, almost immediately turned on his master and became an Avenger and doinked the Scarlet Witch and whatnot, had some kids with her. See, that's the thing, is that the reason why I
Right.
mentioned that he was new is that I was like, oh, right on. Well, he's going to do this kind of self-contained Vision story, nothing to do with anything. It's going to be like, oh, Robot Man, got it. I'll just write the story that I had in my drawer and apply Vision to it. No. Steep in continuity, references things that actually happen in comics. Like, he
Wow.
really paid attention and weaved it in and made it work. And I think that's another testament to the strength of Vision, is that like it matters in continuity. It impacted the future stories of this character, and also it still is able to be its own thing. Anyone
Right.
can read it. You don't need to know anything about it because he gives you all the context you need for the stories he's in. He even references, he says like, I'm Vision, I've saved the world 37 times. And he's like, that's kind of a misnomer. You really can't count how many times I saved the world, because like sometimes I helped somebody else save the world,
Right.
but like I can
That's
count
part of
probably 37 times.
Right.
And then you kind of get almost all 37 times where they reference every instance where Vision was like an instrumental factor in the Marvel Universe. And
Right.
they're all actual stories that happened, some of which happened on this very show. After the all-new, all-different Marvel era, Vision decided to purge his emotions and kind of memories.
Okay.
He still remembers everything that happened, but like I guess his
Because it was like too
attachment-
hard.
No, I think he was just looking for a change.
Oh.
I mean, yes, it was
Okay.
hard, and he was recently resurrected because he was destroyed back in Avengers Assembled and everything.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm looking for a change, and the change is so stark and so like, oh no, you shouldn't do this. The writing is on the wall immediately. So Vision card came in with the Avengers. His true love is a crazy witch named the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Had magic babies with her that
Yeah.
ruined the Avengers. And then his next step is to build a wife and 2 children.
Okay, good. I was wondering where they came
Yeah,
from.
who are
Yeah.
these Vision people? Yeah, he built a wife and 2 children. And he based the brain patterns off of Wanda Maximoff.
Oh, that's not
For
a
his
good
wife.
idea.
And then blended his brain patterns and the brain
Right.
patterns of his wife, Virginia,
Uh-huh.
For
and
the
made
kids?
for the kids.
So it's not just like
It's not just-
Vision's and Wanda's kids are their kids.
Right, no.
No.
He didn't make
They're fake made-up kids.
Right.
Kind of like Wanda did.
exactly.
But with robots,
Yeah, it's actually
synthesoids.
kind of similar
Yeah.
how they both make glaringly horrible decisions that could destroy the Avengers.
It's just
For all
one's
time.
magic and one's science.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So Vision literally, he becomes the government liaison for the Avengers. And so as such, he needs to move into Northern Virginia, or as my
Ah.
Northern Virginian friends back from college would call Nova, which I've never heard anyone else except for those Virginians who didn't live in Northern Virginia call it. Apparently, they call Northern Virginia Nova
Because it's so different from rest of Virginia. It gets its own.
It gets its own
name.
acronym.
Yeah.
I don't live in Nanj.
Yeah, but
No.
like Nova's cool.
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
But I do
Where
like to go
you
to
live.
the-
I live in Nova.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? When they would say Nova, I thought it was a place. I'm like, cool, where? They're like, no, Northern Virginia. I'm like, that's stupid. I don't go to the
Don't do
beach
that.
down in Sanj.
Yeah, but don't you want to live in Sony?
Nobody wants to go to Sony. Least of all Tom Holland. Vision builds a wife and kids. He moves into like Arlington, Virginia, and becomes like the DC liaison for the Avengers. And as such, like he kind of leverages his clout as an Avenger to get like permissions like building a sentient wife
Yeah.
and children.
He gets permission specifically to do that.
Well, like
What does
it's
that
more,
mean?
it's more like no one stops him.
Ah.
Because like, okay, if you're a robot that was built by Ultron, and then you're like, I want to build a wife and children, no matter how many times you save the world, someone's gonna go, no,
That's not a good idea.
not a
Yeah.
fan.
Half of all robots built as like androids have been homicidal maniacs.
Nearly every robot that's in the Marvel universe has gone bad at some point or has always been
Right.
bad. No,
We barely accept you.
But that probably also happens with
They-
like any superhero. Like you go through enough shit,
all right.
you're eventually gonna get turned a
But
little bit or
they're
have bad days.
they're people though.
Yes,
Oh,
He's a thing.
he's a thing.
No.
You can turn him off. And I will.
Pinocchio's strings have been cut.
I was literally about to do that. So he builds his wife and kids. He moves into a suburban home.
Well, isn't it nicer that like he's got a wife and kids now for the suburban
No,
home?
Are you kidding
What
me?
if he was all by himself? He'd be a
That's fine.
creeper.
Now he's normal like us.
Right. That's no. It's
He blends.
It's already complicated and scary. So George and Nora, neighbors of the Visions, go to like welcome to the neighborhood.
Does he have to move the car?
No, yeah, this is George. Nora makes them cookies, and George is like, they're robots. They're not going to eat cookies.
Right.
And she's like, they're not robots. They're synthesomethings. I don't know what they're called, but like they're not robots. He's like, they're robots. Like he has no patience for it.
Right.
And then,
Why are we here?
Yeah.
Right. And she's like, and she's like really plugged in. She like likes the internet and like really reads up on all this stuff. She reads
Okay.
every article. And so she's like, I want to meet him. I want to go. And so she goes and meets the Visions, and then like the Visions are like show up and they're already like scary as hell.
Yep.
You know, you're like, nope, it's not going to work out.
All these
There's
fake
no way.
smiles.
I mean, like
He says the door.
They're
he
really
answers,
happy.
May we help you?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what you say when someone is at your house.
No, you say hello.
Like, hi, how's it going?
Vision and Virginia have a back and forth where she says they seemed kind, and he says it's they seemed nice, and she's like, why? Nice has too many variances. There's too many. You could use it ironically or sarcastically. I meant kind means, and he goes, no, but people don't say that, you know. And they both talk to each other, and in fact, all the Visions talk to each other in this like very matter of fact, like deliberate robotic speak.
Right.
It's like King kind of developed a language for the Visions because you know they'll refer to things, and it's so amazing how it's like this window that peeks in on like how a domestic family would operate and act,
Okay.
Mhm.
but through the lens of them being robots. So they have these like back and forth that if you like go through the Vision speak, you're like, I see what King is saying about the domestic American family,
Right. Right.
but they're also robots. So he's like,
Yeah,
I
they're
already-
like a reflection or like a distorted reflection
yeah,
of a
like
normal
he goes
family.
like when his wife asks him a rhetorical question, he says, "You've asked me that question before. Do you need to replay the instance in which we had this conversation?" She's like, "I've replayed it twice now, and I don't need to replay it again. I'm simply asking to further my point." And he's like, like I'll apply that to my sensibility. And you're like, oh my god, this is not going to
weird.
work.
This is
not going to
this
work.
is gonna fall apart.
Oh, they throw the cookies away,
Of course they do.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
not going to eat them.
they can't eat them.
so they don't eat it all.
Yeah,
I thought Vision could eat if he wanted to.
not Superman.
Oh,
So when we go to the Vision's house, we see their home, and when Vision decided to build his like family, the Avengers were like, "Good for you." So like they gave him gifts. They gave the family gifts.
Yeah.
As like a housewarming gift.
Okay.
So like Cap gave him a lighter that he used.
Yeah.
In World War II. Wanda gave them a bush from Wundagore Mountain. It's a magic bush that has a big deal to do with the story.
Okay.
And they also get the famed flying vase of Zenla. The vase is in and of itself liquid, but doesn't contain anything.
It's just it's liquid with no container, but it holds its shape.
Yes.
From the surfer. I
Yeah.
assume that's the Silver Surfer?
Silver Surfer,
yeah.
yeah.
okay. I'm really hoping
He's-
you can put flowers in it.
You can't because it's made of horribly, debilitatingly poisonous properties. You can't drink from the vase.
Oh.
The irony of the vase is that it can never hold anything living.
Okay.
It also
Weird.
plays a role in the story, you can imagine.
Ah.
Okay. Yes. This is going to be depressing, isn't it?
No. George and Nora leave, and George is talking about them behind their backs, and Nora's like, "Quiet, they can hear you." He goes, "Can't they always hear us?"
What,
She's
like from across the street?
From like across town.
Oh wow.
Like, aren't they
Like super.
Yeah.
And she's like, and the narration is amazing because it's this ongoing kind of punctuation of what's happening, but also a prognostication of what's to come. And so after George and Nora leave, the narration says, like, George and Nora will go home in like a couple of days. Their home will catch fire and they will both be killed. And George will think of a life that he never regretted because he found his true love. And Nora will wonder why the Zenlaw vase was empty. And you're like, oh no.
Well,
I already got chills
this
from like
is-
just
this
looking
is-
at
Yeah.
them. But
What
now it's
the
like,
hell,
this is
man?
unpleasant.
That's Tom King. He nails it. So Vin and Viv, his son and daughter, are enrolled in high school. I'm
Yeah.
sure they had to pull
Everyone's
got to
have V names.
Yeah, they're from the Visions. Yeah,
Yeah.
naturally.
It's his name is Vision.
And
Virginia,
her name,
Virginia,
Viv, because they
Viv.
live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are of him.
Of
They
Vision.
have names like him.
Is their last name Vision? Virginia Vision?
Somebody calls Virginia Mrs. Vision, and she's like, "My name is not Mrs. Vision."
Okay.
Like, no, we don't
No.
have that kind of name. But so Vision is like the government liaison. He reports to the president. He goes on Avengers missions and also takes care of his family. His kids go to high school, and Virginia stays home. And she plumbs the recesses of her memory banks and finds different memories that like she knows aren't hers, but are made for her or are made to make up who she is. You'd be surprised how many of them make her cry.
Yeah.
Ah,
So clearly you can tell like no one's on board with this Vision plan, but like because Vision's a cool guy,
yeah.
like, he's cool, he's solid.
He doesn't
he's
ask for very
cool.
much.
So I guess we'll indulge him 3 indestructible robots that are his family. Who this can only end tragic. So
Yeah.
I love that the kids fly to school.
Oh,
Yeah, they
'cause
just-
they can fly.
They just
and they're
walk
intangible.
outside and then just float up.
Yeah.
So they have the same abilities as Vision.
Yep. They're intangible.
They can phase through
they can phase
walls.
the walls. They can also
He
increase
still
their
has
body
the stone in
density.
his forehead, right?
The stone is actually not a gem in any way. It's just clandestinely like a crystal that looks like a infinity gem, but is
Okay.
actually just a thing that allows him to shoot lasers out of it.
Gotcha.
It's just
Cool.
a weapon.
It's just a weapon.
And
Well,
he
I
put
would be
them
very
on-
hesitant to call it a weapon.
It is a weapon, though.
Oh yeah, no, it's a weapon.
Do all of them have it?
Yeah, they all
Yeah.
have that. Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a good idea.
I agree.
Okay.
Vin and Viv deliberately have different schedules, so they don't like have school together.
Okay.
You know, they're all
They have different
experiencing
experiences.
things. Exactly.
Yeah.
Vin is sitting in class. A girl behind him like asks him a question, and he turns like, "I don't think we're supposed to be talking." And she holds up like her laptop screen. It says, "Are you normal?"
What
And he
does
just
that
turns
mean?
around and just kind of takes that in.
Yeah.
And then when he meets up with Viv after they're done with school, he says, "Viv, am I normal?" And you're like, "Oh no, oh no." Vision leaves for work as an Avenger. Viv and Vin are with Virginia at the dinner table, which of course never has dinner.
Yep.
Um,
They just sit around it, looking
yeah,
at
they
each
sit around
other.
it, Yeah, yeah.
Do they
I
like
know.
replay memories of like
They do. They replay their memories of their day, and they're like, and then they process the new information, and then they share it, and and analyze it
And there's like no speech balloons. It's just the narration of what they're like
because
communicating
they're
to each other.
wirelessly sharing their
Yeah.
information, so they don't really need to talk. So Viv and Virginia have an argument, and Viv storms off, and as she enters the kitchen, a scythe plows through her torso and cuts her in half.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's
and I freaked
crazy.
the hell out.
This is the point in the book, by the way, if you're reading it, you're like, "Oh my god, the shoe has dropped." There are like a dozen shoes. And a villain, the Grim Reaper, shows up, and he's like, "You're all fake, and you need to die."
Wait,
So
The Grim Reaper?
the Grim Reaper.
It's just
Doesn't
a
he
dude.
know that they don't have souls?
Yes, he does. He's mad that they like have what he doesn't have.
They're like trying.
Because the Grim Reaper is Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man's brother, and Wonder
Okay.
Man's brainwaves were used to make Vision. So
Really?
at this point, they think that
know
Wonder
that.
Man's dead. So the Grim Reaper's like, "No, like my brother sucks, and I hate him, and I want him dead, and you're like a puppet, and you don't
Right.
get to walk around and be him and everything." So so he's there to do this. Virginia then takes the cookie sheet that she was given by George and Nora
Yeah.
and beats him to death with it.
Nice.
She turns to her son Vin and says, "Don't tell your father."
Yeah,
You're like, oh.
but
So messed
what
up.
happened to Viv?
Viv is bisected, and Vision takes Viv to Tony Stark, and he's like, we need to fix her. Vision basically reasons, and eventually it gets to that where he's like, I need to get in there, I gotta like do my phasing powers, and I need an inordinate amount of power in order to accomplish what I need to do, because she's basically stuck in a loop.
Right.
And he needs to reset her.
Yeah.
And he knows he can, but he needs to get in there and he needs like an inordinate amount of power to do it.
No, man, you just hold down the power button for like 3 seconds.
I don't know why he doesn't have it as a button. That's what the crystals do.
It's a hard boot.
Yeah.
Virginia then tells Vision what happened, which is to say, the Green Reaper showed up, he attacked Viv, she defended him, and then he ran away.
Uh-oh.
He just left.
She like changed her
I'm sure
memory
Vision's
banks.
not going to follow up on this at all.
Well,
Yeah, he does. No,
he's like, well, people say they haven't seen the Grim Reaper in a while. I don't know.
Oh, he checks with S.H.I.E.L.D. and
Well,
he's
it
like,
happened, like,
they can't find him on Earth.
He attacked my daughter.
Yeah.
I want to know where he is.
Yeah.
But now they've experienced this really like.
So we
severe
killed the
traumatic-
Grim Reaper in
So
this
we killed
book.
off the Grim Reaper. Yeah, but he's died a
So
couple of
death-
times.
Death is like willy-nilly and can do anything.
Yeah. Well, no, the Grim Reaper's just a guy.
Oh,
He
okay.
just
Just a
calls
dude.
himself the Grim Reaper. Stark's like, yeah, so I'll help you,
Sure.
dude.
This
you
is
shouldn't,
kind of messed up, though.
You could feel like he wants to say something like,
Maybe you shouldn't be working on your own child.
Shouldn't we just stop? Shouldn't
Yeah.
we just,
Maybe this is a sign.
Maybe this was a sign that this is a bad
We shouldn't
idea.
even do this at all.
But
Oh, really, Tony? You're going to tell me this?
Right.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they turn on the power. Vision starts to do, and he starts to come apart, and starts like, no, the power's going to kill you. You can't do it. Like, stop. It's going to kill you both. And Vision says, you are my brother and my friend. We have worked together for many years. I've known you since the beginning. But if you turn that power off, I will kill you.
Yikes.
I can't tell if he's doing like, this is the stuff that I should be saying, or if this
No.
is like, this is genuine.
This is Vision. Vision's like, I made a family. I have committed.
Yeah.
I am in this. I am in it to win it. And by it, I mean domestic life. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he wants to be a normal
Yeah.
American
This is
family.
this is what a father would do.
Yes.
Anything.
But he's not also.
But this is not like
pretending.
programming
Right,
where he's
he
just
actually
like, no,
feels
this
that
is
way.
what a father would do, so I have to follow these steps.
Yeah.
He's feeling this
Yeah.
stuff.
But it does work, and he does get Viv back.
Huh.
Meanwhile, on Wundagore Mountain, Attica Harkness.
Well, does it work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they embrace, they're back together, and Tony is cautiously happy about it.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, Walt's art is impeccable in this series. He gets subtlety, he
Yeah.
gets like action. It's all incredible. It's the total package.
Yeah, Tony's like,
Yeah, great.
something's wrong here.
Hey Thor, I need you down here like right now.
Yeah.
So Agatha Harkness is another character in this book. She's kind of like a mentor / mother figure for Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
She is a real witch,
Okay.
and
As opposed to what?
well, as opposed to like Scarlet Witch is she was a
doesn't-
mutant who had witch powers.
Ah.
She didn't like practice, she just did stuff.
Yeah, but then
Right.
she met up with Harkness, who then trained her
To
and
be
so
a real
she
witch.
is also a witch.
Okay.
But Harkness, she feeds a leaf from the bush, that magic bush that Wanda
Yes.
gave to the Visions as a gift.
Mhm.
They have them in Wundagore Mountain. They're rare and they're hard to find and they matter. But like the rumor is with this bush, if you eat for a leaf, you may be able to see the future.
Okay.
What they don't tell you, they tell that to the tourists.
Yeah.
What they don't tell you is it needs to be eaten twice. It needs to be eaten once out of hunger, and then again from death. And so Harkness feeds a leaf to a cat, and then she kills the cat, and then
You-
gouges open its stomach.
You say cat.
Well,
It is
was-
a puma.
Well, it was a cat, and then when she kills it,
Oh.
it morphs into a puma.
Oh.
So it becomes a real battle.
I see. Okay.
I mean, this
It's
is
a
Wundagore
magic
Mountain
cat.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's a Wundagore cat.
This is horrifying.
They
Okay.
all turn into pumas when they're threatened. So she kills
Defense
the cat,
mechanism. Yeah.
and then she rips out its stomach, and then she eats the flower. And she immediately freaks out
Because she
So-
sees.
because she sees the future. She sees this vision.
So it has to
This
be eaten
vision.
once from hunger and then once from death, like the thing that died.
Yes, someone else
It's not
needs
like
to eat
I'm
it.
on my deathbed.
Yeah, no.
No.
Like, someone else is like they say
Oh,
like
someone
a
else
riddle,
eats
but
it, and then you rip it out of their intestines, and you
naturally,
eat it.
It's about sacrifice.
Of somebody else.
Oh, naturally. I mean, well, you're sacrificing.
I
Like,
mean, that's
your
what sacrifice
integrity,
is.
Right.
You know,
Your appetite forever. You're sacrificing many things.
naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you can see the future.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So Viv comes home, and it's a joyous reunion. They're back. Things are normal again. Except they're not.
Normal.
Because then
Yeah.
Virginia checks the mail, and she gets a package She opens it up and it's a cell phone, and the cell phone says on it, turn on, the password's this, go to videos. She turns on the phone, accesses the videos, and it's a video of her burying the Grim Reaper in the backyard with Vin.
No.
And then she gets a call on it,
Yep.
and she ignores it and puts it away.
Yeah. Oh boy.
No.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, no, it's all coming apart.
Yeah.
So what also took place at high school when Viv was sick or dying or broken.
Yeah, that is-
broken.
Then,
How do you call out for that?
right?
So, yeah, my daughter's not going to be in today.
Well,
she's been ripped in two.
They say she's sick. That's the cover story.
Yeah.
But Vin is visited by Viv's lab partner, Chris. And Chris comes up to him and he's like, hey, listen, like, your sister's my lab partner, and like I need her number because like we're working together. And he's like, and Vin is like horrified because not only did he witness the murder of the Grim Reaper, but also he's sad about his sister. And Chris is like a real dick about it. You know, he's like, hey, listen, man, like, fucking answer my question. Like, or do I have to shove it up your ass? Like, do I have to type it up in an email and put it up your butt?
Ooh.
And Vin just grabs him by the throat, lifts him in the air, and he's like, no, you don't have to put it up my butt. Like, he recalls a story about how like robots can be turned off and humans can't. And then like I think Vision recalls a story about like the carotid artery is a button for human. You push that button and they'll turn off.
Yeah, but they turn off forever.
Yeah, but
it's a little different.
But he blacks out, and then
Yeah.
the Visions are called in.
You can knock somebody out, or you can kill them.
Yeah.
So the Visions are called in for a parent-teacher conference with the principal.
Yeah.
And he's like, so yeah, normally your son will be suspended, but you're robots, so I really want you out of here. And they're like, well, I'm an Avenger, so no.
Every time, Avenger card.
Yeah.
Sir, you can't park here. Avenger.
I think they all do that. I know they do, in fact. In the She-Hulk series, she parks anywhere she wants. And she's like, Avenger. She gets towed. So
He's the one who calls her Mrs. Vision.
he does, yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how King portrays like people in this, because like Chris, the
lab partner.
he's a dick to Vin.
Yeah.
But he seems to have a real crush on Viv, and that's why he wants the phone number. And he's like uncomfortable about it, which is why he was probably so combative. So you're like you don't want to like Chris, but you understand it. Like there is no villain in the story. The principal, you understand why he's like this.
Yeah,
But
he's
also,
worried about the students getting killed
yeah,
by
but
his
you're
robot.
also portraying him as like, if the Visions weren't robots, the principal's a racist.
Right.
So
right.
we're seeing that too. And then
Yeah.
you're seeing like sides that you wouldn't be able to tell in a black and white, we're talking about race story.
Right.
Virginia's obviously becoming more unhinged. She murdered the guy. She's being blackmailed, or at least she assumes she is.
Yeah.
A couple of teenagers vandalized the garage. They call them socket lovers.
Yeah.
Virginia, of course, like Colt
That
phases
is-
through the garage
That's a
door.
really bad choice.
I know. Yeah.
Just like, how are they not going to know that it's you?
I know.
They probably watched you do it.
Yep.
I don't know if you've been a teenager before,
Yeah.
but we're stupid.
Yeah. I don't see any cameras. It's fine.
Exactly.
The art here is amazing. You see her hand reach through the door,
Yeah.
pull him against the door, and then you see her step out, and her foot is through his head.
Yeah.
Because she's
Because she's
incorporeal.
phasing.
Yeah.
She's just like, his body is like nothing to her.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
No, her body's nothing to him.
Well, I'm literally,
his
yes,
body
but
is-
she's not even concerned about the fact that she's phasing through
Exactly.
this dude and how horribly disturbing that is.
Yes. Oh no, and it's
Ugh.
that kind of thing where you're just like horrified by like all the visuals.
Right.
So Virginia takes the call finally, and she agrees to meet with her blackmailer.
Okay.
Vin's character develops where his English teacher is doing Shakespeare. There's a big theme with The Merchant of Venice. I guess you could probably guess why. Where they talk about like, you can interpret Shylock as a villain or not.
Yeah.
And both versions of the play work. And Vin is enamored with Shakespeare and completely obsessively gets into it. He's like learning soliloquies. He's practicing in his room.
He gets me. Where can I meet this man?
I know. Yeah. No, he's not Cora from Tron.
Okay.
So Virginia goes to her blackmailer's house,
Okay.
and it's Chris's father.
Oh boy.
And he's like, hey,
Hey.
listen, I don't want money. I'm not here. Like, I actually went over to your house to
Introduce myself.
talk to you.
Yeah.
Because earlier there's another theme about that, and it's how Grim Reaper knew about where the Visions lived, because like when the Visions moved in, they were like, yeah, everything's cool. And people were like, yeah,
Hi.
so like everyone knew, like if you could triangulate through like social media where the Visions did live.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he even explains how Grim Reaper knows to find them in their house.
Right.
So like,
What your son did to my son is scary and unforgivable. I need you guys to leave. Like,
Right, just go.
Just take all your stuff and move out. And I won't show this video to anybody. You know, everything will be okay. He also takes out a gun. And he's like, listen, I know how to use this. I was in the service.
That's not a good idea.
And she's like,
what do you
no.
think that's gonna do?
right. Well, he doesn't know. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Like he thinks
And he's
this is
scared.
the thing to do about it.
Well, he's
scared.
being a bully.
Well, and also he's afraid, and he's right to be afraid. But also, like he's being prejudiced. But
Yep.
but he has a justification. It's
Right.
Like, oh, it's
Like his son was attacked.
But they also make a point of saying, like, you're not supposed to sympathize with him because the school's changing their mascot from like a bull to the Redskins, and it's on like their football, and
Yeah.
Vision finds that repugnant. You see that logo is in Chris's father's house.
Okay.
you
So
know
he's
that,
really into that.
He's into that kind of thing, and so
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're supposed to get an idea about who this guy is based on that.
It's almost like first son
It's a
attacking
very
his son
historic
gave him a
name, it's
reason.
fine.
Yes. Yeah, like I was definitely there looking for some shit,
Yeah.
and I found it, and I'm using it.
Yeah.
So, Chris walked Viv home, or
Okay.
at the very least, out of school.
Sure.
And they had this conversation where he's just like, people think they know like what's going on, but they don't. Like, he's trying to tell her he likes her, but he doesn't know how to do it because he doesn't have the articulation.
Right.
And he's also just like, listen, like, and I think he's also trying to divorce himself from like what his family believes.
Yeah.
But he's also like his father, which is why he's so aggressive with Vin.
Yeah.
So it's like,
like
it's
in
a
there.
character, and he's
Yeah.
only been on like 4 pages.
Yeah.
So he goes like, listen, people think they know, but they don't. Do you know what I mean? And Viv's like, yeah, but she seems to like him too.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the monologue will say things like, Viv will constantly replay this conversation in her head forever
Oh.
because like it's the first time like she had like an interaction with a boy.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and with a boy she liked. So while Virginia and Chris's dad are arguing, Chris wakes up and he hears his dad arguing. She's already starting to come apart. So when
Yeah.
she encounters this thing, she's like, we belong here. My family lives here.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah,
You can't tell
kick
us to
down.
go.
You can't tell us to
Right.
leave. You can't. And I'll do anything to protect my family. And so she starts to like come upon him, like
Right.
she floats. It's very non-aggressive, but still kind of
Yeah.
imposing
Look,
and scary.
If someone
A
is arguing
robot-
with me and they start floating in front of me, I'm gonna shit my pants.
Yeah.
He pulls out the pistol and he puts it in her face, and she reaches out for it, and he fires, so she goes incorporeal, and he winds up shooting Chris in the head.
Who was like standing behind her?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, "You killed my son," and she
Uh.
just cracks him in the head.
Oh crap.
His head, of course, hits the Redskin logo and
Yeah.
smears blood all over it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It is super racist, by the way.
Oh,
that
I know.
logo.
No, it's not supposed to be interpretive.
Yeah.
Chris's father will now fall into a coma from which he will never recover.
Oh.
I'm amazed she didn't kill him.
For all intents and
I mean,
purposes,
she basically did, yeah,
Just
he-
delayed it a while.
Yeah. Wow.
Is there anything where like the police are confused as to what's going on?
Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh, immediately. Yeah. No. Because the police put it together like almost
Right.
within a sec. Like,
Yeah.
well, and we get a lot of background on every character. And so this detective goes to the Vision's house and he's talking to Vision,
Mhm.
and he's like, "So this boy your son attacked at school
Yeah.
is now dead, and his
Right.
father's in the hospital. Like, where were you? Where was your son? That kind of thing."
Yeah.
He immediately thinks it's the Vision.
Yeah, of course.
And Vision is like, "What?"
Yeah, because he hasn't
He's
been around.
totally clueless.
Yeah.
Well, he's being an Avenger.
He's out working. He's doing his day
He's doing
job.
his day job.
Yeah.
He's also trying to convince the Pentagon to like pay him a salary because he's running out of savings because
Yeah.
like the Avengers don't pay anymore.
Oh yeah, you actually do have to like pay for stuff in the house. That does make sense.
They gotta pay for this
Yeah,
house.
it's
And
like
in
really
Arlington.
expensive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really expensive. So they have this back and forth where at the precinct where he basically says like, "I saved the world 37 times. I'm like, leave me alone."
Right.
And
right.
we see between
Oh, he names them all.
Yeah, he names them.
Yeah.
He names them all. We see
Ultron
like,
again. Ultron again.
Yep. Magneto, the
Claw,
Korvac saga, the
Onslaught.
Kree Skrull War, Onslaught.
Wow.
It's great. It's just all this stuff. So like, but it's basically showing you, like, reinforcing this idea of like Vision's like, I'm a hero, and you're like accusing me of wrongdoing when all I wanted was a family.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, that's It's so sad.
This is going.
But like,
This is going down the drain.
we're also seeing the flip side of that, where like his family is doing some crazy
That's the thing, is
shit.
that he's like, I want a family. He also don't want to take responsibility
Right, for
support,
them.
like, because he's just like, oh, I made them, and now they're just gonna like, it's just gonna work out.
Yeah, I'll go be an Avenger and they'll take care of themselves. But they don't arrest him.
They don't. No.
Okay.
What about his wife?
His
Well-
wife, well, he says that he was with her and can vouch for her whereabouts. He
Oh,
lies.
He lies, yeah.
And then he talks to Virginia, and then she fills him in.
Oh, she tells him the truth?
Eventually, yeah.
What do you mean eventually?
Not about this.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
There's an interlude where George and Nora's dog gets out. And
Walk the dog, George.
It's one of those little dogs that couldn't like survive on its own.
yeah,
if not
it's a
for
dog
people.
that's made by man.
Yeah.
And that's actually an important point to make.
Okay.
Because the dog is intrigued by like Vision's floating mailbox, and then it ends up on the Vision's property, goes in the backyard, and it starts to dig in a particularly soft, fertile area and uncovers the Grim Reaper's pie.
Oh no.
And it bites into the like scythe that the Grim Reaper wields, which
Yeah.
is like a rotating scythe that's made of like mechanical parts.
Yeah.
And it fries the dog.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh. It's a lot of
I'm
death
sorry,
in
this
this
is
book.
really funny to me. I don't
It's-
know why.
Does the dog die? Yes, it does.
Oh yes, but not for long. So Vision finds the dog, and it's like its face is burned off, and it's like it's
It's having problems.
It's in a near state of death.
This is an amazing 2-page splash of the dog, like,
Of the Grim Reaper's body,
yeah.
the dying dog, and Vision being like, oh.
And there's just like,
Oh, I was wrong.
there's so much about this I have a question about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then George comes over. He's like, "Hey, my dog's missing. Do you know where he is?" And Virginia's like, "No."
This is disturbing.
I know. So we cut to Vision and what he's up to. And what he's doing is he's cutting the brain out of the dog
Why would he do that?
so he can put it into a robot body.
And
Because
fix it.
I'm gonna fix my family's problems. We're gonna get a dog.
Oh,
That's what people do.
That's amazing. This is fantastic.
That's not how you fix that.
But that's how they think they'll fix it.
That's amazing.
Don't worry,
Couldn't
we'll
you-
have this little thing that we can all care about.
Wait a minute. Couldn't you make a dog without a brain? How did you make your wife and kids?
Well, the brain was the wife and kids are based off of brain patterns.
Oh, he doesn't
Yeah, I'm
have
not
a dog
I'm
brain
not gonna make a
pattern.
smart dog.
Nobody gave me a chip with all their dog's memories and experiences.
Oh,
I can't just put my brain in there and be like, all right, just pretend you're a dog.
Right.
All right, I'm a dog now. What do I do as a dog? First, stop talking.
Yeah, Vision's not Vision dog Vision would not cotton to the participant, but he's also a Vision dog,
Right.
so he is intangible and
Yeah.
super dense.
Oh
and so
my
they can play with
God.
him.
Oh, it looks like a Yorkie. That's hilarious.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's green.
Yeah,
All right. This is horrible.
I know. It's horrible.
It's awful.
I hate it.
It's like, well, the dog's dead. There's no coming back from that. I
Yeah.
might as well put its brain to use.
Exactly.
Those
It's
eyes
like it made it.
are
Yeah.
so disturbing.
They all
like,
have the
I'm,
same
I'm
exact
really
eyes.
starting to like get freaked out by this.
Does George get disturbed when they get a dog, like right after he tells them that his dog is missing?
We don't see George,
Okay.
but for one more time.
Okay.
So the family rallies around getting this dog. The kids are kind of like happier about it.
Yeah.
And so things kind of start to try to get back to normal. Then we find out the entire monologue, everything that's been going on, has been from Agatha Harkness, who is having a meeting. She's astral projecting to the Avengers and everyone who will listen, where she's like she's been telling them all of this about George dying and all of
Oh, wow.
because she ate from the flower.
That was her vision? She saw all of this?
She's seen everything up until the end of the
Oh.
book, and she's telling them everything that happened. And she's like, this will set Vision on a course where he will kill every Avenger. He will destroy you all.
Oh. That's not
It's
good.
over. So you
Whoa.
need to stop him.
Including Wanda?
Oh yeah,
Oh. What does she think of all this?
she's not a fan. I mean, and of course she knows that Virginia's brain patterns are based off of her.
Okay.
And we do a little flashback. Another issue is where Vision and Scarlet Witch, how they had a relationship.
Yep.
And it's literally, it's supposed to show you the difference between a real relationship that Vision had with a person
Right.
and the one he manufactured from a robot.
Right.
And, you know, like Vision tells Scarlet Witch a joke and she thinks it's like hilarious. And then he will, at the end of the issue, tell Virginia the same joke and she won't really understand.
Because she's a robot.
Well, and it's like, it's not the same person, Vision. What are you
Right.
doing?
Right.
We see these glimpses, these flashes of their relationship together, the Vision and Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
And these are the memories that that Virginia will recall and cry about it. It's like, this isn't me and it never will be me.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Who hurt you, Tom?
Is this before Scarlet Witch went crazy? These flashbacks? Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when Vision and Scarlet were dating, then they had kids, and then it's actually interesting because Vision's gone through some like emotional moments before. Like he and Scarlet Witch are together, and they want kids, and he has this argument with her because like Scarlet Witch is putting the kids to bed, and Vision's like they're not ours, like they're not real. And then she keeps them, and then Vision goes through some shit and becomes the all-white Vision.
Oh yes.
And he's lost his emotions during that point. It's during the West Coast Avengers era.
Yeah.
And we have the scene that I don't think actually happened in the comics, but it's fine, where basically the kids are talking to their father.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Witch is like, explain to them. Tell them what you told me. And he's like, I purged my memories and emotions. I am a new version of myself. In essence, I'm not your father and you're not my children. And they're like, oh. And of course, Wada's like, ah! Like, it's just, we're giving you a continuity of Vision being a pretty terrible spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Right.
No, I've wiped myself.
Yeah. Well, I had to. I was damaged, and I needed to come back from that. So. You know.
And my backup didn't have you in it. I'm sorry.
Well, it's more like it did, but I'm aware of you.
Right.
I don't care about you.
Yeah. Well, it was brought on by Scarlet Witch creating them in the first place, and he's having to tell her
that they're
not real.
And she's like, you're not
real. So he's like, okay, I'm not real. Purge all my emotions.
Right.
And oh, this is such a mess.
Fine, you want to walk down that road? There,
Oh
boom,
my
I'm not
God.
real.
I know.
You kids, you're fake.
This is just the fallout of everyone's terrible decisions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Once you do it, you can't take it back.
Exactly.
That's exactly this book.
Yeah.
So the Vision's dog gets out. Vin's playing catch with it, and this man with a robot arm picks
Is it
up
a
the ball.
ball?
Yeah, it's like a Vision ball.
Okay, I want to make
Everything's
sure
gonna
it
be
wasn't like a
visionized.
grenade or some weird
It is
like,
metal, but
thing
Well,
from
it's,
space.
it's a ball that the dog won't destroy, and that they can throw farther and harder than a
Right.
regular ball.
I see.
Gotcha.
So this robot man picks it up and then meets with Vision and throws the ball back, to Vin. So he catches it.
Okay.
And we find out that this character, this robot person, is Victor Mancha. So Victor Mancha shows up, seemingly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Victor Mancha is, there's a monologue that explains it throughout the book. But if you want to go further, he is a real character and he actually does have story that all to connect to the continuity.
Sure.
But basically, he's the brother of Vision, kinda.
So
Yeah.
he
From a
comes
second
over
generation of
to
Ultron.
meet his family?
He's gonna stay there with them. He's like, I need a place to stay, so he's gonna stay with
Uncle
them.
Mancha
Yeah.
gonna come
Victor,
by.
Uncle Victor.
Uncle Victor.
So
Uncle Mancha sounds really weird.
But of
Sounds
course
like
Victor-
a novel from Russia.
yeah. But we know that, of course, Victor has a horrible prophecy about the future, and he's trying to
Right.
basically fight against his own destiny.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's also a lot more human.
He looks like a normal
He looks
person.
like a normal person. His syntax and his back and forth is much more human.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, we should go out as a family. We should go out to dinner. And, the Vision's like, but it would be awkward. And he's like, yeah, I know. It'd be hilarious. So they literally go to a restaurant and they sit at a table and they don't bring them any food. And the waiter's like, are you sure you don't want any food?
That's what we
And-
do.
Yeah, and they're like, no, just come back in 45 minutes and bring me the bill.
Well, there won't be anything on it though.
For taking whatever you think is
Oh,
appropriate.
Whatever you think is
For
fair.
taking your time.
For taking the space.
Okay.
$5,000.
You guys really went high on the fucking John Terry.
I see. They ordered food and then they told him not to bring it.
Right.
So just bill us for what
Bill
we
us for what we would have ordered.
Yeah. Okay.
Clandestinely, there's a house across the street from the Visions that is for sale.
Okay.
Victor remarks on this stringless piano that Virginia's learning to play. The stringless piano, of course, is made of vibranium, and it was a gift from Wakanda, from the Black Panther. Everybody got it. All the gifts that Vision receives from his Avenger friends is in some way important and essential to the plot, and also is like a gesture of their power.
Sure.
So Victor and Virginia have a conversation about the piano and about the vase, and it's just this uncomfortable conversation because as Virginia's becoming more unhinged, she's starting to repeat words.
Oh.
Like specific words?
Yes, it's never
Oh.
easy. And you're
Oh,
like,
in a sentence. Okay.
you're like, oh no.
Yeah, she's glitching.
And clearly that's happening when she's talking to Vision, and Vision's very obviously ignoring it.
Yep. Just
It's
that'll
just
probably
like,
fix
I have
itself.
a dog now. Everything's fine.
I got the
Everything's
dog.
good.
I don't understand. So
It's gonna be you and that dog, man, and that's gonna be it.
so Victor and Vin are playing basketball. Victor is ingratiating himself with the family.
Yeah.
And he's meeting everyone, and he's getting connections. He hugs Virginia when she starts to break down. He plays
Aw.
basketball with Vin and notices that Vin's like really obsessed with Shakespeare. Viv won't let go of Chris and his death. There's a sequence. They're in the graveyard, and she's at Chris's grave, and she phases up from it. And she turns to Victor and she says, "I shouldn't have done that."
Yikes.
It's her like learning about it and coming to terms with it.
Yeah.
And Victor's like, "Oh." So yeah.
Okay.
So again, so this goes on for about a week. Victor's staying there and he's ingratiating with the family. He goes to an art gallery with Vision, and they have a very uncomfortable conversation because like Vision is clearly ignoring the
All these
problems in
signs.
front of him.
Problems. Yeah. It's like, dude, what's up with your family?
No, he's not. He's not doing that. He's just kind of like, don't you think it's kind of irresponsible? Like, he's bringing up these conversations.
Yeah.
So Vin is playing with the dog, and the dog phases out the house and across the street to the house that's for sale.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when the dog ends up in there, Vin follows him. Victor Mancha is a sleeper agent working for the Avengers to keep an eye on the Visions because of Harkness's vision.
Oh boy.
So Vin finds Victor.
Yeah, he's like,
"What's
"What are you
going on
doing,
here?"
man?
Yeah, and he's so naive, he doesn't really understand what's happening. And Victor's just like, stop. Like, it's gonna be okay. And he reaches for him, and his electrodes like shoot out. He's just freaking out.
Oh, jeez.
And he winds up turning Vin off.
Oh.
Basically, he
You
fries,
shorts him?
He fries him.
Yikes.
Victor has a vibranium addiction.
What does that mean? Does he eat it?
He doesn't eat it. It's more like he absorbs the vibrational properties of it, or he absorbs the vibrations until it becomes inert.
Okay.
And it's supposed to calm him. He uses it to kind of like soothe his own nerves and his own like trauma that he's experienced as a superhero.
Sure.
So it's
Okay.
like he's addicted to pain medication.
Yeah.
So
it's like an analog.
Now
form.
he really needs it.
Yeah, and he, he noticed, of course, the piano is made of vibranium. Like he's happy to help the Avengers. He also he had periods, long swaths where he didn't get written about because those characters were not in any popular books at the time.
Sure.
And so, as such, King basically says, well, then he just sat until people called him for him.
Sure.
Like a meta kind of this is what these characters do. They just sit
Right,
alone
they
in
just
a
sit
room
around.
and wait.
Yep.
And then the Avengers came to Victor and they're like, hey, we need you again. He's like, okay, I'm ready to be a hero again.
Cool.
But
Thanks.
he's also got this vibranium addiction where he's just like, he needs it. It's like
Okay.
compulsion.
Yeah.
That's just an aspect of him, and it explains why he's so discombobulated. It's why he
Kind of messed up.
why he accidentally killed Vin.
Right. He wasn't
He
in
was
his
just
right
trying to
mind.
stop him.
Yeah. He's
He
like,
wasn't-
stop, just stop, just
Yeah.
listen. And he's just like,
yeah. When Victor hits Vin's forehead laser goes through the house into George and Nora's house and burns them alive.
oh.
Okay.
That's the story
what-
That's not what I was thinking.
No.
I
Yeah.
assumed the lighter was going to be a part of that.
The lighter is important, but because they make a point of talking about how George mentions it. He goes like, "Oh, what is this?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Captain America's lighter." He's like, "That's amazing. It still works." And I guess they don't make them like they used to,
Uh-huh.
but it does come into play.
Okay.
So they get the rundown.
Wow, so Vin burns down their house.
Yeah,
yeah.
Accidentally.
accidentally.
Yeah.
Because he dies.
He was being fried at the time. He wasn't
Yeah.
doing it out of.
Oh.
I don't know if he did it to defend himself or if it was just
Right.
like
A reflex.
a reflex or it was short circuiting and it triggered that mechanism on him. In any case, he kills George and Nora. Then the Visions are placed under house arrest.
Okay.
Basically, the Avengers are like, Victor is going to robot jail. He goes to a special cell in Arlington,
Okay.
and Stark builds like a grid, like an invisible electricity grid around the Vision's home to keep them under house arrest. This is when Virginia tells Vision everything. What happened with
Right.
Chris, what happened with, Grim Reaper. She told him about Grim Reaper because he found his
Because
body.
he found the
but
body,
What happened
yeah.
with Chris and Chris's father, and
If he didn't ask about that, where he was just like, I'll just make the dog. He's going to cover this up with my boot,
yeah,
never mind.
she was like, I killed Grim Reaper. He's like,
He's
what?
like, oh, this is surprising. I
Oh,
did
dude,
it all.
to me. But no, he basically says to her, like, I wish you had told me because I told them
Yeah. that you were
a
with
lie.
me.
Now they think I'm capable of lying, and they're going to turn you off. Like
Right.
you that's why you got to listen to me. But also, it's really your fault anyway.
Yep.
So,
Oh, jeez.
Vision basically is overwhelmed by the loss of his son Vin.
Yeah.
Viv is very interesting. She Vision finds her in a room and she's praying, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm praying." And he says, "Oh, may I join you?" And they have this robot's prayer
Okay.
that they make up on the spot, where it's basically like, you know, if there is a God, though that is highly improbable, may he, like, if Vin had a soul, though that is unlikely, may it be at peace. You know, it's just this, it's haunting.
Yeah, yeah.
And then basically Vision's like, I'm gonna go kill Victor. I'm done.
Yeah. Screw him.
He represents the betrayal of my family against my family, like my family, the Avengers, against my family that I built and believe in and tried to make whole.
Right.
And I can never bring him back. And when he discovers like I can't bring him back, like, well then that's it. Well then I'm gonna send him someplace he can't come back from.
Right. He's not coming back either.
Yeah.
All right.
This is echoed by him recalling a vision, a replayed memory of Vin practicing Shakespeare and Vision taking a call from the Avengers and not listening to it.
Right.
So then he takes Captain America's lighter and he reasons that it must have been made of vibranium, and that's why it was never short, why it always worked.
Okay.
So he uses it to push against the grid, creates a small hole, and goes through it.
Oh, wow. All right.
He fries the lighter.
Vision Unchained.
Exactly. And then he goes for it. This is when Stark finds out the grid is tripped. He calls Thor. He's like, get everyone. And Nova's like, well, what do you mean everyone? And Stark's like, everyone!
Oh, man.
Thanks, Gary.
Virginia kills the dog.
Oh.
Because she has a conversation with Viv.
Yeah.
And Viv is basically like, you killed this boy. Like, you
did this.
You did
this. This is on you.
And so, like, her daughter's upset with her, and it's like that kind of lashing out, but basically...
So she lashes out and kills the dog?
So Viv breaks the table and leaves to a room, and Virginia kills the dog, just in a rage.
The dog's just like looking at her like, woof, woof, and she's like,
stop.
God.
So the heroes all meet with Vision, and he just mops the floor with them.
Yeah. It's a big fight.
This is getting really, really intense. I thought it was intense before, with just like emotional, like, oh, who am I? Do I exist kind of stuff?
But also, also Vision has to fight everyone he's ever like trusted and worked with before.
Yep. Oh boy. Oh, Spider-Man's there?
Yep.
Both Spider-Man.
So he mops the floor with the Avengers while Virginia destroys the family dog. Because the dog ate from the bush. And she accessed the memories that Wanda had that were part of her matrix. So she breaks the dog, she rips open the stomach, takes the leaf, eats the leaf. She has the Vision. She knows what Vision's going to do.
Oh, wow.
That's still messed up.
Oh, I know.
But that's better.
Vision goes to Mancha's cell, and he meets with Mancha. Mancha's like, this is excellent. I'm so glad you're here, because if you kill me, I won't become victorious. Which is, of course, this evil, future destroying thing.
Yeah.
So then this hand phases between his sternum and pulls out his heart. And it's Virginia, and she arrives to keep Vision from killing him.
Oh, wow.
Because she knows that, like, if Vision does this, it's over.
He'll never be an Avenger again.
And he'll kill everyone. There won't be any more Avengers.
Yeah.
So then she goes home. She says, I'll see you at home. And then she leaves, and she goes home, and she drinks from the vase, from Zenlai.
She drinks?
From the vase you can't drink from. The one that kills you.
Yeah.
Because it's like nothing living will live in the vase. So she then calls the detective who was piecing everything together, and she gives him a confession. And she
tells him
uploads
everything. Yeah.
And she uploads her confession, which has
I did everything.
timestamps and visuals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's video of everything.
It's video
of
everything
she did.
that I did.
And he goes, do you have anyone to confirm this? She goes, yes, I can confirm it. So then Vision meets with her, and the two of them are in this dark living room, and they just sit together. And she's like, I drank from the vase. And he's like, well, then phase and let it come out of you. And she's like, no. After the Grim Reaper killing, I altered your memories and your processes so that you wouldn't know what I was up to.
So they won't think you
lied. They won't even think you lied.
Oh.
And I altered you here. And Vision's like, but when you pass, I'll still tell them what I did, because that's not true. And she's like, you will, because you want your family to survive.
Wow. What's left of it?
So yeah, he still has a daughter.
He still has a
She
daughter.
goes, oh, when I killed the dog.
Damn it.
And he's like,
This is really sad, but that's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, and I killed it.
Oh, I also killed the dog on top of everything else.
Yeah.
Wow.
because she says, what you would do would destroy the world. And so what I did saved it. I saved the world once. It was nice. And he says, no, dear, it was kind.
Oh, that's so sad.
So then it's sometime later, and Viv is with Scarlet Witch, and she basically is having this back and forth where, because Viv is okay.
Yeah.
She's going to be okay.
She's, yeah.
And Scarlet Witch is having this back and forth about Vision and who he is, and basically Viv is just like, you know, what does it all mean?
Right.
I need to get some sort of understanding from all
Yeah.
of this.
And Scarlet Witch is like, life is weird and random. You know, she's like, but it has joy in it as well.
Yeah.
And she's just like, well, anyway, and then she whistles, and the dog comes, and she goes, you know, life is random, and but it doesn't hurt to have some magic and Tony Stark on your side.
Yeah.
And so she gets her doll.
Yeah. Oh. All
So
right.
she goes home, and she meets with her father, and so she's leaving for school. And he says, like, you know, she goes, I'm going to go. And she flies away. And he goes, don't you want to be normal? And she goes, my mother and I and my brother were built by a robot that was built by an evil robot that wanted to destroy the Avengers, who is also an Avenger. And then my mother killed, like, a supervillain. Our lives are not normal.
Yep.
And they're never going to be normal.
Yep.
So she leaves. And then Vision goes into his basement and begins work on what appears to be another.
Oh.
And it could be his wife, it could be Vin,
Yeah.
but he sings the song that Virginia was playing on the piano, so my assumption is he's rebuilding
Her.
Virginia.
Yeah. Well, that's not good.
No! Like,
You-
it's sad
it
because
was-
you didn't learn anything.
No.
Unless the whole thing is a metaphor for like being.
No, I'll do it better next time. Oh, next time.
It'll be
Yeah.
flawless.
That's,
Like,
that's like he's like a
no.
person.
Yeah.
It's
Just so that's Vision.
brutal.
It's
Oh my god.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It deserves an Eisner. And like,
Yeah.
I'm like, 13, 14, no, don't do it. And then they were going to do a sequel that he wasn't part of.
Oh, wow.
Immediately, after this, he left to do
No.
Batman and signed an exclusivity contract.
Right.
So that was done.
Right.
And they contracted a Vision 2, like a sequel series. That fell apart.
Good.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
thank God.
I don't
Yeah.
want.
And
I
it
don't
was
want
a-
more of this.
Like,
Well,
no,
there
we
is
got
more.
Vision working. We got to do more with Vision.
Yeah, well, Viv is cool. So, like, Viv can join the champions and she can, like, make out with Smart Hulk and stuff, and it'll be fun.
She can have a normal life.
that
well,
could
not
happen.
normal,
You
but,
know, but
you
like
know,
normal for Marvel
life.
standards. You know.
Yeah.
And she does, like, and Viv becomes a character, and her, you know, she becomes a human, and then they're great. They built another Viv, and then so there's two Vivs, and then she absorbs one Viv,
No,
and then
no,
I know,
no, don't
but
do
this
that.
works within continuity. It's cool
Yeah.
depicting the all-new, all different Marvel, but it's also its own thing, and it works in every conceivable level. The art by Walter is phenomenal,
Yeah.
and it
very good.
captures emotion and lack thereof.
It is so sad that he just says, I should have done better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know,
then Viv just
Viv's
leaves,
like-
and he's just like, but well, it's getting late.
Yeah.
Time to go inside.
Because it's like,
Like he's deluding himself with this normal life
Yeah.
that he still thinks
Well,
he's gonna
and
have.
and like this is better. Like, what is better? Vision, you idiot. You listen. Could have been worse. You have a daughter and a robot dog, so you know.
Yeah.
But it's tragic. It's a perfect tragedy.
Yeah.
Shakespearean
even.
Yeah. Hey. It's true. But check out Vision. I'll put a link in the description so you can get the trade. You can get it in like 2 trades. So don't just get the hardcover.
Well, it looks like it has cool backups.
It has
Well,
it has the entire script in the background.
Yeah.
And full page images. And I skipped over a couple of moments. Like there's a moment when Vision defends their son, Virginia like rewards him. Like he's trying to talk to her, and she like comes out in like a negligee. It's like he knows what he built you. Like, there's nothing provocative about this. But she's like rewarding him. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, no,
It's
the
the
is so
intent.
That's
weird.
nice, but also
Yeah.
horrifying. This whole thing is
Yeah.
nice but horrifying. It's just,
Yeah.
that's why when I read this, I'm like, oh shit, Tom King's gonna crush it on Batman.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
man.
oh no.
Oh, what happened?
You know what happened? He didn't get 12 issues to do it.
It's just a different story. Like,
Well,
run
that's
it.
the other thing. And now maybe what it is he's better suited for Marvel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe this was just something that like really connected with him, like
I
that
mean,
character in the background of like
I mean,
what
with
The
the
Vision
with it.
moved into the same town he lived in.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
All
You know what it is? With Vision, you can do something really friggin' weird because he's a robot. Nobody's gonna be like, "That's not Vision. What are you doing?"
What do you mean? Explain what he does do that. Well, I know he flies and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Thanks. No, but how does he feel?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, we never really
But
talked
he's
about
a
it that
robot.
much.
That's my point.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm looking at
Wait,
Vision
what's
fight
the-
these people. He really loves the putting his fists through their torso
Well, it's
move.
effective.
Yeah.
It's a good move.
Jeez.
It's a
He does
real
that-
good move.
He does that to Wanda when she's the last
Yeah.
one before Victor, and he
She's
puts
like,
it through,
"Stop," and he's
through
just
her
like,
heart.
and she dies.
No.
Oh,
Does he just like displace it a little?
he just
Like, just
messes
like,
her
I
up.
don't know what the
It's
move
really unclear
is.
what's
I
happening.
know it's uncomfortable, and I know
Yeah.
it will like knock you the hell out.
She
Maybe
screams.
he's interrupting their heartbeat with like an electrical pulse.
That could be. I don't know. It's grisly. When
Hey,
he does
at
take
least
out
he doesn't rip their hearts out.
like Virginia does. That's
Yeah.
her move. I love it, by the way. When he takes out Wanda,
Yeah.
he turns to Harkness's ghost or whatever, and he's like, "So, have you got anything for me, or are you finished?" She's
Wow.
like, "Damn you."
Wow.
You're like, "Oh." So yeah, Vision, buy it, read it, get it, absorb
like
it,
he's like,
take it.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, Harkness.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I know. Well, especially because we established just by the continuity of this book, but also through the depth of the book that you don't read that is out there,
Yeah.
their relationship. You know that it must hurt to
Yeah.
have to do that, especially because Virginia is here. Oh, and in the flashback about Wanda and he, like, she hooks up with Simon Williams, the Wonder Man, after he becomes emotional, and then when he's fixed again, when he's not white,
Yeah.
when he's colorful again, he's like, "Hey, I'm back," and she's like, "Well, I'm with Wonder Man now," and his brain patterns are based on you, and
Yeah.
your brain patterns are based on him. So it's not really an insult that I'm in love with him.
Right. It makes
But, like,
sense.
hey, listen, here's like I have this thing that has my brain patterns on it, so maybe you can make a me for yourself.
That's not a good idea. Why would you do
Why
that?
would you do? Well, because she's Scarlet Witch and she's
'Cause
full
she's
of good
crazy,
ideas.
yeah.
Exactly.
No more mutants. Thanks. Hey, I want to thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time here on ComicPop and on Back Issues. I am Sal
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
from New York Comic Con. Keep reading.